Thank you for joining us today. I'm Sabrina Stoker, and I'm the Executive Director of CASA of Larimer County. And I wanted to first start out by just simply saying thank you. Thank you for being here today. In a time of all unknowns right now, the fact that you would join us from moving our live event that we have every year into this virtual platform where we're trying something completely new, we really appreciate your continued support and you're willing to be flexible and to lean in with us at this time. So it's my honor, along with 12 other amazing board of directors, to be able to lead this organization. We have 16 incredible staff members who are working with over 800 families and children every day to implement our mission. Recently, I had an opportunity to attend the Bohemian Foundation's Give 10 Mixer. And to prepare us for the event, they sent us a list of questions that they wanted us to ask. So one of the questions they asked was, can you describe the essence of your organization? But the catch was you had to do it in 10 words or less. So this was rather difficult for me. When I think about the fact that we are recruiting everyday community citizens like you and me to be consistent, caring adults, to be role models and advocates for children who have been abused and neglected. And we are providing a safe space for non-custodial parents to maintain contact with their children and parenting classes and case management. How do you fit all of that down into just 10 words? And what I came up with was this. We advocate for every child to have a nurturing home. And you may be asking yourself, well, why did you choose nurturing over safe? So much of what we do is about children's safety. But being safe is a state of now. It is a state of who we are at this moment in time. And nurturing is a state of becoming. When we think about our CASA children and the abuse that they've experienced, we know that an advocate can make a huge difference in their lives. But we also are particularly concerned these days about our foster youth, for the group of children who will be aging out of the foster care system and who will be on their own as an adult very soon. Statistics say that 1 in every 3 foster youth are going to end up homeless and experience that at some point in time. The Colorado Department of Education put out a stat for the 2018 school year saying that it takes about 6 years for foster youth to be able to even graduate high school or have a GED. And we can do better for this group. So when we think about nurturing, we know that one of the protective factors that makes a difference for ending child abuse, for putting an end to this, is that connections make a difference, permanent connections. And we know that youth with a CASA volunteer have 2 to 3 permanent connections. And this is what we're doing. We're working together to get them tutoring, and we're advocating for their medical needs, and we're advocating for mental health supports to build their resilience now so that they're going into adulthood prepared with the tools that they need to be successful. So one of the other things that we did for our foster youth this last year is we implemented a curriculum called the Fostering Futures Program. And this curriculum supports our CASA volunteers who are already working with youth by helping them to walk the youth through identifying what their goals are. Are they looking to graduate from high school? Are they looking to move into vocational skills or apply for college? Do they need help with an application? Do they need their social security card or driver's license? What is it that's important to them, and how do we build the skills that they need so that when they turn 18, they can not just secure a home for themselves, they can have stable housing and they can maintain employment. We really want to set them up for their future. We want to change their story and make them successful in life. One of the other things that we've done on this idea of nurturing is we've looked at our supervised visitation program. And one of the things that we were seeing as a trend is that nearly 30% of the families who receive services with us are returning each year. And we can do better than that. So we sent our team to a training for the Nurturing Parenting Program. This program is an evidence-based program that's known to reduce the rate of recidivism of child abuse to less than 5%. And while we may never end child abuse in Larimer County, that is not what we are setting out to do. we can end the cycle of abuse. We can meet parents where they're at. We can address the fact that they come to us with trauma, and we can work with them from a strengths-based approach to help have an individualized curriculum that will help strengthen them, build their parenting skills, build their attachment and attunement to their children. When we finished our pilot this past fall, what all of our parents said was that 100% of them said that they had increased their parenting skills and they had positive self-confidence that they could do this. And that's great. When we think about case management and resources, we want our parents connected to this community. We have so many great nonprofits that do so many different things in our community that if our families are connected in the way they need to, that when they leave, they know where to go when they're in crisis. They know where to go in an emergency. And those types of risk factors are what we know lead to child abuse. So we are really working in such a collaborative way with so many partners to make sure that our families have what they need. So we're doing all this great work, but the fact of the matter is we're only serving about half the kids who need us. So in any given year, there are a little over 600 kids in Larimer County who need a CASA volunteer, who've experienced abuse and neglect and could use an advocate. And right now, we're only serving about 55% of them. We're so excited that our community has bought into this idea of we can serve every child. It's equitable. Every child deserves to have this, and we can do this. But the question I keep getting these days is, well, how do we do it? What's it going to take? How do we serve every child? And we've narrowed that down. So we know we're going to need more CASA volunteers. First and foremost, we need volunteers to be willing to be consistent, caring adults. And then we'll need staff to train and support those volunteers. And we will need organizational capacity to support our staff, to support the volunteers who are serving the children. And in order to do all that, we know we'll need to increase our annual revenue by about 30%, which will put us at an annual operating income of $1.2 million. But our biggest challenge that we see ahead of us, our biggest need, is that we're out of space. So if you've been in the CASA office any time in the last few months, you will see we have redone that office space thanks to our partners at the Judicial Admin Office. And we've got extra desks in and they are all full. And if you come to the Harmony House, a program and a property that used to only be used at nights and weekends for visitation and exchange services, we are hustling and bustling during the day. And you might meet our development staff or administrative staff. CASA volunteers are coming in for information sessions and are being screened and interviewed. We have partners like our title sponsor, Conductall, who will come in and do service projects to make sure that the house and property are comfortable and up to date and being maintained for our families that use them. But we're also outsourcing space all the time. So when we think about CASA training, 6 classes, 6 times a year, we're going to Realities for Children. They've done amazing things in our partnership with them to support the children and provide emergency services, but we're using space there, and we're using space at Timberline Church and at Medwire, and we're filming today at Redeemer Lutheran Church. We know that this is an issue that we're going to have to address in the meantime, and while we don't have an answer right now, we know that if we're going to serve every child, this is what's on our plate. This is what we're going to have to come together as a community to be able to address. But we can do this. When we set out to have this event in person live with you, our goal was to raise $100,000. And that supports both programs throughout the year. It allows us to implement our mission in a way that's meaningful and nurturing for families and children. But now in the state that we're in with this pandemic affecting everyone, we recognize that the families that we serve with our visitation program are very disproportionately impacted by the economic impacts of this. Lost wages, with many of our families being very low income, being hourly wage earners, children out of school, food insecurities, there really is a large impact to them. And while we have moved our services virtually to keep families connected, so that in the midst of all of this chaos and panic and unknown, families can still see each other and talk to each other and know that they are safe and healthy, that they're still paying for that. So what we'd like to do, in addition to the goal of raising $100,000 is to raise a little bit more. If we raise an additional $20,000, we can provide services for these families and keep them connected at no cost to them for the next 3 months. And we have worked with a funder to be able to start fee-based services for free as of January 1, if everything goes smoothly. And if we raise more than our original goal plus the $20,000, then if we raise up to $120,000, we can begin fee-based services now for the next few years. And thanks to our wonderful sponsors, some that I've already mentioned as we've been talking today, as well as Assured Partners, A&B Bank and Financial, and Peters, Schulte, Odell, and Walshine, as well as UC Health. They have, and all of our table sponsors, we can't forget them. They have been such loyal partners of ours for so many years. But that group of sponsors for today's event has already raised $40,000. So we're asking you to partner with us. This is an opportunity for you to do what I love to do every day, which is to make a difference in our community. And this is something you can do. You can help our families right now in the heart of this pandemic, and you can help our children who have experienced abuse and neglect heal, and even help prepare us for what we know is going to happen as a result of this. There are so many children who school is their safe place to be, and they are home right now. So we know that when this pandemic is over, we are likely going to have a surge of cases coming in. And your gift today will help us serve the kids who need us now and serve the families who need us now, and help us be ready to serve those children when they come to us at the end of this crisis. Thank you.